Good morning. We'll finish the Song of Solomon today, chapters 5 through 8. And again, tomorrow, worship at 9 o'clock. You're welcome to join us. And then on Monday, we'll begin looking at the book of Isaiah. But Solomon, chapters 5 through 8, continues this dialogue of sorts between the woman and the man with some interjections from the friends. And in chapter 5, starts out, with the man speaking, I come to my garden, my sister, my bride. And then the friends, again, it's that eat, friends, drink, and be drunk with love. And then the woman speaks, I slept, but my heart was awake. And it's a kind of another telling of the dream of looking for her lover and not finding her lover. And basically, the majority of chapter 5 and the first part of chapter 6 are the woman speaking, other than, verse 9 of chapter 5 is, the friends interjecting, what is your beloved more than another, O fairest among women? What is your beloved more than another that you dismiss us? The woman is infatuated, searching, desperately looking for her husband. And, she says, my beloved is radiant and ruddy, distinguished among 10,000. And, that word ruddy, that's one of the words that was used for David. I think it was David, But anyway, it's not a word that that you hear a lot, but, not in our language. But I guess, some people use it regularly. But, his head is the finest gold. His locks are wavy, and tall, dark, and handsome type deal that way. And then when we get to chapter 6, verse 1, again, the friends interject into the woman's yearning, the woman's search, the woman's description of her beloved. That's, verses 10 through 16 are the woman speaking the beauty, the grace, all of the positive attributes of her husband. His cheeks are like bed of spices, her lips are like lilies, his arms are rounded gold, his body is ivory, his legs are alabaster columns. And it's just, she's describing him, and if you listen to the words, you can hear the love, you can hear the longing, that she is totally enraptured with her husband, with this man. Chapter 6, verse 1, again, the friends ask, where has he gone? Which way has your beloved turned, that we may seek him with you, that we may help you find him, And then, she says, he's gone down to his garden to pasture the flocks, to gather the lilies, so if the she is the people of the earth and the he is God, so that, she's saying that, God is among the people, and helping and going on that. And then after she says that in verses 2 and 3, then it's now the man speaks from verses 5 through 9, talking about the woman, and he says, turn your eyes from me that they may overwhelm me. When she looks at him, he is just overcome, with her beauty, with his desire for her, and again, and then we see his image of her. Your hair is like like that flock of goats moving down Gilead. It just makes me laugh. Your teeth are like a flock of ewes, and all of that, but these are complimentary pictures that he's talking about, even though they don't sound so complimentary in some ways. But, verse 9, my dove, my perfect one, is the only one, and so he's declaring that way his love for her. And then verse 10, the friends ask the question, who is this, and then again, he responds, that he went down to the orchard, and before he was aware, he had found her, and then, the verse 13, the friends, return, O Shulamite, return, And then he asked, why would you look upon the Shulamite and, upon this other person that way? And chapter 7 is mostly the man speaking again of, descriptions of this beautiful woman that he's totally taken up with, graceful feet, her, and I mean, some of it, I mean, if you would almost make the person blush to be talking about them in their presence that way. And I guess, if somebody say, what are you doing? Buttering me up or something, trying to, but he's very complimentary of his wife that way. And chapter 8:7, verse 10, again we go to the woman talking. I am my beloved's, and his desire is for me. And you think about that sentence. I am his desire. I am the beloved's, and his desire is for me. God's wish for you and me is for good. And we are the apple of his eye, and I don't know how we can be that, for who we are, but I am my beloved's. I belong to God. God knew me from before I was formed in my mother's womb, and his desire is good things for me. And then she says, come, my beloved, let's go into the fields. Let's go out to the vineyards. Let's see all of this. Be with me. Live my life with me. See things as I see them and walk with me. Walk with me, talk with me. And, it's, words from in the garden come into my, this tongue in the garden come to my mind that way. But she's inviting him to be with her in life. And we hear a lot of pastors and a lot of religions will teach that we need to invite God into our lives. We need to be open to God, and that's very true. We need to say yes to God, not to say no to God. We don't. I mean, to invite God to walk with us, to be with us, to live our lives with us, to influence our lives is such an important thing in so many ways. And then in verse 5 again, the friends have this, who is coming up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved, and so who is trusting in God? Who is letting God lead and guide? And, it's just, under the apple tree I awakened you. And then, then the woman starts to speak again, after that question. In verses second half of 5 through verse 7, it's the woman speaking, and then the friends have 2 more verses. We have a little sister, is she a wall? We will enclose her, and then the woman, I was a wall. And, I was set against God. I was set against whatever. I was a wall. I had my borders up. I had my boundaries up in my protection. But I let them down. And my vineyard is my own. O Solomon may have the 10,000, and so she's again professing that, she's let her guards down. She's opened her doors. She's opened herself, opened her heart, opened her life to this man. And, and it ends, verse 13 is the man saying, my companions are listening for your voice. Let me hear it. So, in a way, I think that's God speaking to us that, the rest of the world needs so desperately to know of God's love and God's grace of Jesus Christ. And, they're listening for your voice, And then the Song of Solomon ends with verse 14, make haste, be like a young stag upon the mountain. Make haste, come down, let yourself be known. It's like, come Lord Jesus. And it is so true that, there is so much need for God in the world, and so many hearts that are breaking, that so many hearts that are hard, so many hearts that have walls up, not ready to let God in. And so the The Song of Solomon is a love story, and it may indeed be the love story between Solomon and his bride, or it may be indeed the story of God and God's love for each and every one of us.